1. I used to work at McDonald's when I was a student. I often did the night shift as it was easiest for me to juggle classes and work. We were a 24/7 drive-thru and seated place, so customers could do either, or in this guy's case, both. Let's call him AS for Angry Shithead. My manager will be A. It's around 1:30 a.m. at this point on a weeknight, so it's pretty dead. Me and the 3 other people on shift are basically just cleaning at this point, as we haven't had a customer in about half an hour. And all food at this point is cooked to order to save waste. I'm manning the drive-thru and my headset goes off. Now bear in mind all other crew have a headset on too, and they have a function to talk to each other by pressing the middle button. Just meant we could chat to each other while doing our cleaning jobs at other ends of the kitchen. Anyway, onto the event. Hello, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order, please?
I was a sweet and sour wrap.
I'm sorry, you'd like a sweet and sour wrap? Wanting clarification.
Yes.
Sorry, sir, we don't sell that. We do sell sweet chili wraps, if that's what you meant.
No, sweet and sour.
I'm sorry, we don't sell those. We don't have anything sweet and sour other than the sauce pots. I'm happy to make you a plain wrap and give you a sauce pot to dip it into.
Don't fuck with me, I know how you sell them.
Now my manager kicks in as I have been verbally shouted at by the customer. She's normally very professional and doesn't take it lightly when we get customers like this. Excuse me, you can't talk to my staff like that. You need to leave, now.
I'm not going fucking anywhere. Give me my fucking wrap.
You're not being served anymore. Leave or I'll call the police. AS speeds off and we think that's the end of it. Nope. 2 minutes later, this guy is storming into the seating area, shouting his head off about his wrap. The manager and I go out to the front to try and get him to leave. He's about 6'2" and 15 stone, big guy. I'm scared at this point, but my manager just holds her own, telling him to, in not so many words, get the fuck out of her restaurant. AS's final remark is,
I'm gonna get my cock out and piss all over you if you don't get my sweet and sour chicken fucking wrap.
Manager just goes into the office, calls the police. He runs away once he realizes he's fucked and we never saw him again. Police came. We gave him a copy of the security tapes from both the drive-thru and in-store, and his photo got put up in all of the stores owned by our franchise. Dude got banned from 9 McDonald's over a non-existent chicken wrap. 2. On my very first shift as a bartender, a beautiful woman in her mid-20s came into the bar. It was a regular Saturday night, so the place was crowded, but not packed. She had 5 female friends with her, but she was clearly the self-proclaimed ringleader. At one point, they come up to me at the bar counter and she makes a big show about how she's going to buy them all mojitos. The drinks run at about $13 apiece. I tell her it will take me a few minutes to get the 6 drinks ready, and she's fine with that. After a couple of minutes, she gets up to go to the restroom, I assume. I get the drinks ready and start wondering what the heck is taking her so long. I have a fellow bartender check up on her in the restroom, as I figure she's either throwing up or having sex in there. Well, I wasn't completely wrong in either of those assumptions. Other bartender comes back and says that she was throwing up, but then she found some dude in there that was chatting her up. Other bartender informed her that she was needed back at the bar. A few minutes go by and she and Mr. Knight in shining armor grab 2 seats at the bar. I walk up to them and the dude tries to order a beer for himself and a water for her. I inquire about where she wants the 6 mojitos placed, and this is how it plays out.
Those aren't for me. I'm too drunk to have more drinks.
But you ordered them, and here they are.
But I don't want them.
That's not really the issue. I made them, so now you've got to pay for them.
But I've been in the restroom the whole time, so I couldn't have ordered them.
Actually, you ordered them with me at the bar 15 minutes ago before you stepped into the restroom. I was with her the whole time, and she did not order those drinks. Stupid girl looks infatuated at Knight in shining armor. It's clear that they've just met, and this dude is thinking that she'll be an easy score if he just huffs and puffs a bit for her, putting me in my place. Well, you've only just met her in the restroom just now, and she ordered those drinks before she went in there. As a side note, some of her girlfriends who had been hanging around the sides of the bar area waiting for the drinks suddenly disappeared into the adjoining rooms. They clearly didn't want to be part of this mess.
But none of my friends are here to drink them.
It doesn't matter, you ordered them, I made them, and now they need to be paid for.
She clearly doesn't need more drinks, and this is your fault for serving them to her in the first place.
He's getting angry. She seemed fine when she ordered them. We don't live in a country where you're not allowed to serve drunk people.
But she shouldn't have to pay for them.
Fine, then you can pay for them. That'll be $78. Dude was actually taking out his wallet until he heard the amount. Then he promptly looked at her, clearly assessing whether she was worth it, meaning if he deemed her too drunk for what he had planned for the rest of the night. He decides no, not happening. He puts his wallet back in his pocket, and now it's really awkward. She's looking down at her glass of water. He's looking for a way out of this situation, and I'm just standing there staring daggers at the both of them. If you don't pay, I will have you arrested. Stupid girl is looking around for someone to save her. Everybody is looking away, including knight in shining armor. So what's it gonna be? Stupid girl reluctantly and very slowly takes her credit card out and pays, all the while looking around for pity and someone to step in and pay. I hand her the drinks and tell her very firmly, do not do this again. We're a small bar in a local town. You can be damn sure we gave her stern looks and asked for humiliating confirmation every time she visited after that. 3. I was gearing up to be done with my indentured servitude at this torture hole I had been at for roughly 3.5 years. Now I'm sure many of you have also given up on life and gave yourself over to absolute apathy as I have. But this was the first time I actually let it go on a customer. And for being there so long and dealing with folks every day, that's kind of a shock. Anyway, this woman comes in and orders her drink. Now I know these drinks like the back of my hand. You can give me any made-up shit you want and I'll make it for you. Long and complicated, short and sweet, I got your back. She orders her drink and makes it very clear that her additions need to be sugar-free because she's diabetic. No problem. I inform her that part of the drink can't be made sugar-free because we don't have that option, and I told her this very clearly, asking if she wanted to omit it. She said no, 3 times. I shrugged and made it for her. She comes back in a rage that would make Kratos of God of War fame quiver in his loincloth. She slams the drink down on the counter and demands I remake it for her. I ask her exactly what she wants me to change, and she looks me dead in the eye, trying to shake me. Little does she know I am unwaverable.
This drink has sugar in it. Look at the bottom. That's not sugar-free. I told you I was diabetic. You could kill me. Make this sugar-free.
I very politely inform her that I told her I couldn't substitute it, and that she said it was fine. Whatever. I shrug and tell her I'll remake it without the syrup at the bottom. She looks aghast.
No, I want this syrup, just make it sugar-free.
I turn around and look her dead in the eyes and tell her that no, I cannot make the syrup sugar-free, as we do not carry the syrup sugar-free. She then begins to argue with me that I was wrong and I don't know what I'm doing. Well, ma'am, seeing as I've been here for almost 4 years, pretty much every single day of my life, I think I have a good idea on how to make my own product. If you don't want it the way I make it, you're more than welcome to go elsewhere. I made this drink perfectly. Something inside her snaps as soon as she hears perfect. She is red in the face. My coworker is trying to keep herself from crashing to the floor with laughter and keep the line moving at the same time. She understands me. The woman is flabbergasted.
Perfect? I've had this drink everywhere I go. I know what it's like. This isn't perfect. Are you saying that you're perfect? That you're God?
I smile. I've been given a gift, and I won't let it get away. Yes, ma'am. I am God, I retort. And of course the moment is ruined because this is when my manager, whom I argue with constantly for good reason, that's a whole other issue, decides to enter her shift and profusely apologize and remake the drink for her. I left immediately, so I didn't get to see the outcome of that. But I did see the woman storming out of the store as I was clocking out, empty-handed. Some say she's still wandering from coffee shop to coffee shop, asking for sugar-free syrup. If you're in one, close your eyes and pay attention. You just might hear her. 4. So I work in the tea room restaurant of a vintage store not too far from the center of my town. We have lots of different characters pass through all the time, and I'm quite a polite, patient person. I've had a couple of foul customers, but usually I keep my nerve with them, only having snapped, even then in the most polite way possible, only twice. Mainly since I dislike confrontation and avoid it at all costs. So a few months ago, 3 semi-regular customers came into the tea room for a lunch date, and I recognized all 3 ladies. One more than 2 others, and I couldn't place my finger on why that was. I took their orders, 2 cans cold drink and soya lattes, a vegan cake and 2 brownies and 3 meals, one being a quiche from our specials board. After a little friendly chat, they sit down at a table and waited as I brought over their drinks. Honestly thought they were lovely customers. The lady who ordered the quiche made a point of picking up a loyalty card so she could get a stamp for her hot drink. At the time, our specials board was a bit chaotic, spanning 2 boards either side of the kitchen door as new additions would replace the space of a previous special. On the left side, we had mainly quiches priced at £6, and on the right mainly soups priced £5. Well, just so happens the latest quiche flavor replaced the soup flavor on the board, but the price wasn't changed alongside it. As you can probably decipher from what this lady had ordered, she was vegan and she saw the quiche on the right-hand board, inquiring if it was vegan. I explained it wasn't, but there was one on the left-hand side of the board that was, and she said she'd like that quiche then. I put her order through and got to work on the drinks. I took the drinks over to the group of ladies and said I'll be right back with the cakes, as that's also front of the house's responsibility. When I came back with the cake, she politely inquired about the price difference from her and her friend's receipts. I said I'd double-check the ticket and make sure it was right. I brought over their tickets and showed them the prices of what they ordered and how everything was correct. Just the vegan lady ordered the slightly more expensive drinks and food, and they seemed to be quite understanding of this fact. However, she did notice the price of the quiche was £6 on the ticket, and thought it was £5 from the board. I explained there must be a mistake on the board, and I'd correct it right away, but all the quiches are priced at £6 like it said on the left-hand side specials board, where the quiche she had ordered was correctly priced all along. She seemed okay with this, and I went to correct the mistake on the board. Later, I also took their meal out to them, and when I said enjoy your meal and was about to carry on with other drink orders, the vegan lady turned from being lovely and friendly to malicious in an instant. She snapped at me.
So you're gonna refund me that £1 you overcharged me?
As if I was personally responsible for her not paying attention to what she'd ordered. As a side note, I'll hold my hands up and say the pricing mistake was quite bad, and if she'd ordered the quiche that was priced wrong, then I'd be far more understanding. But her specifically vegan quiche was very clearly priced correctly the entire time, and I did direct her attention to the board when she ordered it. I apologized about the misunderstanding and said I would find out what I could do. I went into the back and asked my manager if there's nothing we can do about it. Her quiche was priced correctly all along, and the other board had now been corrected. I went back out to the front and a small queue of people were waiting to be served. I served the 2 or 3 people there and began to start making drinks, as I was the only person out in front of house duties that day. As I was finishing up the drinks for the customers, the vegan lady had decided to come up to the counter and snapped again, asking if she was actually going to get her £1. I said again I'll see what I can do, but it's out of my hands, and proceeded to call out one of the kitchen staff to help. My colleague was planning her leave from her job anyway at the time, so she was very straight and to the point with this lady, that there was nothing that could be done for the same reason I had already explained. When I was taking drinks out, I overheard the vegan lady claiming it was our error, so she should be refunded £1. While we had made an error on the pricing of a quiche on the right-hand side of the board, this lady couldn't understand that there was no such error on the left-hand side of the board, which she ordered from. Eventually, the manager of the entire antique shop, second only to the owner, was passing through to check the till. He is very polite with a dry sense of humor. Kind of has to be at times to cope with some of the owner's demands, ideas, and short temper. But he was very busy that day and he had to update the till. Before he could do that, the vegan lady was still at the till demanding a £1 refund. He made a passing comment saying, "Been overcharged £1, have you?" and smirked as he clearly was making light of the fact that she was causing such a fuss over something so petty and minuscule. He refunded her £1 to shut her up and carried on about his work. Later that day, the vegan lady posted a review on the Facebook page, saying her service was horrible, and explained how she was spoken down to and didn't appreciate my manager's smarmy comment. I was so frustrated with my service being called horrible, as I know I was nothing but polite and everything was very streamlined, fast and friendly, even after she was rude to me, demanding I refunded her for her own inability to read. I did a little more digging around the post and discovered a few more things, however. One, she was the only person to comment on her own post, and it was a photo of her torn-up loyalty card saying, "Won't be needing this anymore." I found this funny and liked the comment, as it was like she was expecting people to be impressed, but for me it was a good riddance. Two, I'm pretty sure she made her Facebook account possibly under a fake name, just to make the reviews, as the name used was peculiar, and she had around 2 friends and no posts or pictures. 3, one of her friends, the one I recognized most of all and couldn't remember why, posted a review on Google and stated how she was disgusted, and it was not the only time she'd had bad experiences, as she'd been twice before, and had found hair in her food both times. The hairs she found both times were long, straight and black, like her hair, and no one else who came into contact with her food or in the kitchen at all for that matter matched that description. It was mostly short brown curly-haired people and one long wavy blonde-haired person. The fact it happened 2 times in a row, and both times she asked for her entire plate to be remade for her, makes me think she had either planted her own hair to get more food for free, or just didn't notice the fact that her own hair was falling into her food. Honestly, can't say I'm gonna miss those people, but I do plan to, when I eventually leave this job, respond to their stupid reviews and explain why they're ignorant, and made my day far more stressful than it needed to be, and how they insulted my service when I was extremely polite and patient the whole time. Maybe they'll have forgotten by then, but I want to get my voice heard by them at last. So until then, I'm just gonna sit on it a bit longer. 5. Quick background. I work as a bartender at an Italian place. It's pretty small, but we often have large groups book entire areas of our dining room, or our private room in the basement. On this particular night, we had a group of about 15 that booked our basement room for their Christmas party. So that night I'm working up at the bar with another bartender. She's tending to the people in both booths that we have in our area, while I'm making drinks for servers and serving the few I have sitting at the bar. This group of 15 starts showing up, and even though their private room is set up and ready, they decide to sit and have a drink or two at the bar while they wait for the rest of the group. Next thing I know, I have 15 people standing around basically yelling drink orders at me, blocking myself and the other bartender from getting around properly. They were obnoxious and confusing, but they finally migrated down to the private room and started ordering food. Now, towards the end of the night, these people are trashed. Their server is upset because her manager told her they weren't going to stay late. And now it's almost closing time and they're still ordering drinks. They've racked up a $1,300 tab, and some of them keep coming upstairs to order from the bar, making it confusing for us because we have to keep telling the server to add more drinks. And then it's closing time, and they're the only customers left in the building. My bar is clean and everything is mostly put away, except I'm still having to make drinks for these people. Half an hour later, they seem no closer to leaving, and the only other people left in the restaurant are myself, their server, and our manager. At one point, a guy comes up to order a drink and sees us basically waiting around. He goes,
"Oh shit, we should probably head out, huh?"
We obviously can't say, "Yes, please leave." So I put on a fake smile and assured him that it was no big deal. Another 30 minutes goes by, and another guy comes up to get a drink. He smirks at myself and my manager and says,
Say, there's no way I could order a few pizzas to go before we leave, is there?
I almost laugh at him and have to turn away to hide a smile. My manager was not happy. She calmly told him that the kitchen closed more than an hour ago. He shrugs and says,
I'm sure you're both capable of making pizzas, but whatever,
and walks back downstairs. Finally, it's been an hour and a half. We're all annoyed, and it seems like a few of the guests notice this. Finally, one couple decides to leave, and another guy at the table yells,
Oh, come on, it's barely midnight. Where are you going?
We all rolled our eyes and groaned quietly. Eventually, 2 hours after closing time, the guy who organized and was paying for the party decides to leave with his girlfriend, who he's making out with, literally as they're walking out the door. This prompts everyone else to head out as well, and we finally clean up and get ready to leave. The server ended up getting a pretty shitty tip from them, which affected me as well since the majority of their bill was alcohol and I didn't get a great tip out. She ended up crying as she left because the party forced her to cancel plans, and she barely made anything. The next day when we went in, the owner of our place gave us both cash tips from herself to make up for the situation. It sucked, but at least we haven't seen any of those people since. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates number 30. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Well, it didn't seem like that long, but that's been 30 weeks since I started this series, and I must say I'm very happy with how it's being received. Well, it is a somewhat sleepy Hellfreezer that finds you here on a Saturday night. If all has gone according to plan, then I should actually hopefully be hanging wallpaper by the time you guys listen to this. Right now as I record, I'm doing a bit more work on a Thursday, technically Friday morning I suppose, trying to make sure I've got most of the work done so that it doesn't take too long to make the videos on Friday, so that I can then get the room stripped. Okay, and with that I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.